Uh, hello, and thank you for joining the Derp with Kurp. What a great derp we have today. My good friend Aaron from Scientology's back because he's been in the big house this whole time.
That's right.
Oh
Been in
my
jail the whole
God.
time.
It's been a free man. What does it feel like to be a free man after a Clearwater stay in prison?
Feels good to sleep in a real bed again. I mean, the worst part of jail is the bed.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. I have to fix my backdrop. Um. Uh, yeah. My spooky. I call it Halloween, Florida, New Orleans backdrop is was fading wrong. Was it? What size bed is it?
You mean
It's
in
like a.
jail?
Mm-hmm,
I mean, it's the size of a cot. I mean, I
mm-hmm.
think it's smaller than a twin. Um, but it's really just like a steel sheet with like a half inch pad over it. I mean, for a big guy, it's kind of crazy. I remember the first time I laid down on it, I was like, oh, this isn't even going to be
How
possible.
tall are you?
6'1".
Oh, dude. So I'm just under, slightly under 6'4", and the nightmare of being in a cell, just the bed alone. I'm like, they didn't plan for that. Much like an airplane, it's just be like I live in an airplane. That's how I feel.
No, it's terrible. And they don't give you a pillow either. They
What do
give you a
you?
pillowcase, but they don't give you a pillow to put in it. So
So that's just to
yep,
beat people with, I guess.
that's what I used it for. Um,
Like a pillowcase or no pillow, you're telling me to fill this with a lock and pound some guy with it. That's how I would take that.
yeah. And everyone gets a tablet though these days. They've got like a paperless jail system. And so everyone gets an Android tablet,
That's cool.
but
Oh
no
wow.
one gets a pillow. You could hurt someone with the tablet if you wanted to. You could use that as a weapon. I
Do
don't, you could. I mean,
but do the prisoners. I'm curious because I imagine that'd be a thing you'd want to really not break.
if you break it, they charge you $200 actually. Um, but no, I was in the area of the Pinellas County Jail. I was probably in the nicest area of the Pinellas County Jail. If anyone got rowdy with anyone or talked back to the deputies, they took you out of there and they put you into another area with troublemakers. So honestly, I mean, I was actually really afraid of going to jail, but once I was there, I was like, wow, this actually is not that bad.
I just figure Clearwater has got to be like. I mean, isn't it all like empty Scientology buildings? So like, who's even in the jail? Like, who's
Yeah,
or is it for a county? So I guess it wouldn't just be a.
it is count. It is county. It is county. And Clearwater is really just like downtown Clearwater is where all the Scientologists are.
Oh,
They,
okay.
they very rarely like in downtown Clearwater is really small. You
Yeah,
know,
that's what
when
my
people
girl
hear
says.
that
Yeah.
when people hear that Scientology's taken over, downtown Clearwater, it's easy to misunderstand that to think that they actually have a large presence in this city.
It's
It's
not.
really
It's not a
just
Utah, but of Scientology is what you're saying.
exactly. They don't have any of. They don't. Utah. What they've got their own senators. They've got their own presidential candidates. They've got Scientology can't even get a Clearwater City Council member. Like they've never even had one of their own members on the city council, much less the county commission, much less the state house or any of that stuff. So,
Mhm.
there's only 26,000 Scientologists in the world. Did you know that? Did we talk about that last time?
Last time you told me, and I was surprised how low the numbers had fallen. Because that's what do they claim again? It's something a lot bigger than that. than
They
30.
claim 15 million.
Wow. Well, the
Yeah.
Jehovah's when I was in, so this is like 20 years ago. That's they had 5 million, and then I hadn't checked on it in a long time, but it was up to like 8 or 9 million or something around 2012. It had like doubled. I mean, if you look around at the news, this the best time to be selling any kind of doomsday cult. This is a great time to do it. If you're looking to get into that, I don't know if Scientology has an Armageddon plan, but I bet they could expand with one.
Actually, Scientology, they don't have an Armageddon plan. They think they're trying to prevent Armageddon. Like they're
Oh,
not looking
see,
forward.
that's where they're fucking up. I mean, not to tell them how to do their job. The reason we call it doomsday cult is not because doomsday for us, doomsday for you, motherfucker. So that's the big selling point. Okay. That's
Yeah,
why you don't. Why would I want to prevent it when I hate it now? Why would I want to prevent God from fixing it, which is essentially what doomsday means in
right.
that parlance, you know?
You know, the last time we spoke, I was shocked by how familiar you were with, you know, biblical information. And then you explained to me your upbringing. And I was finally able to be exposed to the good word while in jail. The only TV shows you can watch in jail are Jesus shows.
Now, are they TV preachers or are they? What did you do? I forgot to even ask what crime you committed. Illegal Scientology?
No crime. I am innocent. I will defend myself at trial shortly.
That's good. Keep saying that, dude. That's smart.
Okay. But what I was charged with, was misdemeanor battery for 2 separate incidents that occurred at Scientology locations with Scientology Sea Org members. And these incidents occurred 6 weeks apart, right? So the first misdemeanor battery involved, I was out there with a bunch of protesters. We had a bunch of chalk powder. We were doing, you know, chalk art. The Sea Org members were throwing water at us. And I had in my possession a bag of colored cornstarch chalk powder. And some of that powder wound up on one of the Sea Org members.
Well, that's just Diwali or something. That's just an Indian celebration. That's not an assault.
Well, we'll see what the jury thinks.
I happen to be a judge, as you know, and astronaut. I'll allow it. Powder throwing.
And so I was arrested for that, bonded out immediately, didn't even go to jail. 6 weeks later, there's another incident where I went to a different Scientology property and I was talking to one of their Sea Org members, and I was I had a door open and I was in front of the door. One of their people came over and started slamming the door on my foot. I wasn't moving. So a second person came over and helped them slam the door on my foot. And they eventually had enough pressure to get my foot out of the, get me out of the door. But I was actually my foot was injured. Like my foot was actually injured. And there was some incidental physical contact with one of their members who had just slammed the door on my foot. I was going to go to the police station and file my own battery report.
Yeah, right. Well, that's how that works. Whoever gets there first files it.
Yeah. And then my lawyer called me. He's like, I just got a phone call from the state attorney's office. They said they have, you know, kind of reasonable grounds to arrest you if they wanted to. They don't want to arrest you. Can you just sort of stay away and chill out until the first charge is resolved? Anyway, without any explanation, about 6 weeks later, the state attorney was like, oh yeah, we're charging him with the second incident. And we're going to ask the judge to revoke his bond for the first arrest and send him back to jail. So that's why I went to jail. It was for violating the terms of my first bond. It wasn't I wasn't technically sent to jail for the second incident. I was sent to jail for the second incident violating the terms of the bond for my first incident.
I mean, boy, misdemeanor horseshit is always like such like
misdemeanor battery. Misdemeanor battery.
Yeah, or as is commonly known, nonsense battery, although your foot's injured, so it's not that nonsense. But.
Yeah, they didn't get charged with shit, you know? And I didn't realize there's a saying for Pinellas County, which is come on vacation, leave on probation, come back on violation.
Is that right?
And yeah, you know, one of the things I learned in jail is that this probation thing ends up just being a scam to keep people trapped into the revolving door of the criminal justice system. You get people violated on probation for the absolute stupidest things that had nothing to do with anything relating to any of their original charges, you know?
Yeah, well, Florida has its downsides as well. It's not all just fun adventures and wild men in the pool. It's
yeah.
My girl's from Jacksonville, and you know, they could have those things probably cheaper than what they do now, you know, because drunk driving is a constant Florida problem. So you can put a thing in the car where it won't even start, and you can require it easily, but they're not going to do that because a lot of revenue is arresting the drunks. So now you've created a situation where you never want that solved, much the way in LA or California, they lost $43 billion solving homelessness because the business of solving homelessness is, you know, once there's an economy around a thing like that, it becomes this inverted morality, perverse incentives, fuckfest of it's just like, it really is like sad to watch, dude. It's in every aspect of life now.
Yeah. I'm pretty grateful for having at least had the experience to see what it's like, you know, from on the inside of the criminal justice system. I never would have guessed. I never would have guessed how many people were in there just waiting to find out if the state was actually going to charge them with something. And then the state takes like the entire 29 or 30 days that it has to make up its mind. And in many cases, it's like, okay, we're not going to charge you. And it's like, so I just sat, and these are people who can't afford bail. Right. And like, so I just sat here in jail for 29 days for nothing. Now I've lost my job. Now I'm behind on my bills. Now I'm everything. People just get screwed, man.
Yeah. You don't,
also,
yeah.
Well, also, a lot of people get arrested for essentially being homeless, right? So if they're sleeping in the wrong area, they're going to be arrested for trespassing. If they're sleeping in an area, let's say it's a construction zone, automatically going to get charged with burglary. And
that's odd.
Yeah, it's some special little enhancement for like you were found in a construction area. It's sort of private property. There's tools. There's stuff like that, you know. So. I thought it would be scary. Not scary at all. I mean, the biggest problem in jail is boredom. You just got to figure out how to pass the time.
No, that's the most brutal part of it. The crippling boredom. Just like, I mean, boredom and smells is what I think would hit me.
I couldn't even believe how clean the place was, though. Every square inch of that place got cleaned every single day.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I'd probably be a lot neater of a person if I had nothing to do but make my cell not stink. Yeah, it's a brutal thing, dude. The whole here in Texas. So I sold this show to. They're called Emergent Order. They got this Dad Saves the World podcast that you might have seen on here, but it's called The Cutout, and it's all about them trying to manipulate. There's like a minor decriminalization of some cannabis flower bill, like nothing big. And they're being paid by a casino mogul / supplement guy to make sure that vote does not go through, because he's one of the people that wants massive. In real life, the cops do not want flower to be legal at all because it's a premise to search your shit. So if they can catch a whiff of flower, so the police just want to violate your fucking privacy tool. They see no problem with it. I mean, Austin police here, there's like, I think there's like 10 left. They all work at Mothership, so I like them.
Uh-oh. Did you freeze? Did I freeze?
Notorious for this. It's one of those. Did it freeze?
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Oh, yeah, I froze.
It's just
Texas is notorious for it. I mean, what state is not notorious for rampant goddamn corruption and this bullshit? I can't think of one. Can you?
No, it has to be, in my opinion, the only reason why people are, politicians are against legalization of weed is because it just robs the criminal justice system of its number one source of revenue. Their number one reason to search people, their number one reason to violate people. It's just, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, crazy. Remember when I was in New York, it was a big controversy about stop and frisk. And I knew people that thought stop and frisk was fine. Like they were like, no, it's good. I'm like, yo, if I had to get just stopped for no reason outside my house every day, because I'm always late, I was thinking like the bubbling anger I would have towards all authority for that, for having my time wasted for nothing because they thought they saw something in my fuck you. Like everybody gets their rights. You don't get to just do that. But guess what? I got great news. That's all going away. We lost habeas corpus in 2014. That was Obama. He goes, I have concerns. This could one day be a problem. Do you? Do you, Barack, that you think maybe the government just being able to grab you and never tell you why forever if they want? Do you think that could be a problem? Okay. So, and now with, I don't even know what conspiracy theory applies to Trump, because the closest thing I come up with is the two Trump theory that Dick Gregory put forward years ago.
What's that? I haven't heard that.
That there's two Trumps. There's two of them, and one has a different colored tie. Now, it still works metaphorically. So we got to cover that all week on Jimmy's show. I got to cover the insanity, because right now you saw the Rob Reiner thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which I don't think was cool. I want to put that out there. I don't think that was too cool that he slit both of his parents' throats. Good Lord.
Is that what happened? I haven't even read the articles.
Oh yeah, it's real bad. Anyway, Trump's theory that he put forward on Twitter is that it was something of a mercy killing for Rob Reiner being too annoying talking about Trump. Okay. Now I don't know that theory. I don't know if that theory is. I don't know if it holds water. I'll be honest with you, Aaron. I got my doubts about it. That is merely.
We'll have to look into it. I mean, of all the unforced errors, I can't. So I haven't seen all the media coverage of what actually. I mean, I saw the breaking news headlines. I didn't know the details
So
you just gave, but I've
here's
seen
my
the clips of. But I've seen the clips of what Trump has been saying, and I'm like, of
and Rob
all
Reimer
the
is very
unforced
annoying to a
errors.
lot of Trump. So apparently, there's been a big backlash in Trump voter land, which would be the majority of the country because they voted for him. Over this. Maybe there is. I guess probably. I thought it was kind of gross. But here's my question. I've been covering that Trump is having them just murder Venezuelan fishermen for no fucking reason. There's nothing. That fentanyl thing's a complete lie. That doesn't come from Venezuela. I mean, we're talking about a crazy conspiracy. The idea that Venezuela is bringing fentanyl here. Venezuela is way. I don't know if you ever saw it on the map. It's the ones that bring the fentanyl in are way up here, and that one's way down here. And so Pete Hegg said they were talking about a war crime tribunal. Don't worry, he'll be fine. First of all, it's not a war crime because no war. It's just they murdered some people. They're trying to get Maduro out because they want the fucking oil. The same thing they always fucking want. Also, to be fair, Maduro did say Gaza's a genocide, so he's obviously a monster. So fucking nobody's mad about just killing people around the world for no reason, no proof.
Did they shoot a second missile at some people floating in the water? I thought I heard that this morning.
What the hell is my thing doing? Mark, what's happening? Are they doing workout? I don't know. I'm gonna keep cutting out.
It just froze for a few seconds again. It's all right.
Yeah, this internet derp. I didn't do it. Anyway, no one cares about the extrajudicial murders, or I don't want to harp on genocide or something silly like that. This is where people draw the line. What about when he didn't do anything with Epstein? That didn't tickle your anger bone a little bit? Just now they go, whoa, Trump, you can't say you didn't like a guy that tried to frame you for Russia collusion. I mean, the thing he said on the internet, he goes, well, I didn't like him, which is like not nice, but I know if you accuse me of Russiagate bullshit, I would say probably not be cool. Although if I was president, I might try to be a little cool. Is America stupid as fuck? I guess that's my question. Why is this the stupidest country in the whole wide fucking world?
Tribalism, just tribalism.
I know people out there.
I don't know. People will bend over backwards to protect their guy, and
don't even talk about the Muzzies assholes out there. You think they're stupid, the Muslims? Let me ask you this: did these Muslim countries did they ever have an argument, an extended, almost decade-long argument about if women have cocks or not? No, they didn't, did they? So score one for the Muzzies. Dude, I live in trauma most of the week because I got to watch real events that they're not even the fun fake conspiracies that I would love to get into. And when I tell people them, they think they are conspiracies every fucking time. And it's fucking amazing to watch. And right now it's popping off all over the place. Oh, that's the other thing I want to ask you about. Because I don't know how much you know about him, but I know you mentioned John Mappin last time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because I think he's the one who introduced Candace Owens to her husband, is John Mappin, the British pilot. Yeah.
I did see a video this week of a Turning Points event with Charlie and Candace that John had hosted. And it is amazing how much traction and access a total unhinged lunatic like John Mappin can get just by.
Have you ever heard of Reverend Sun Young Moon from the Moonies?
Exactly.
In 2004, it sounds like I'm lying about this, but I'm not. 2004, who was in Congress? I forget the name of the location, but Sun Young Moon, if you go to the Mooney headquarters, they're so proud of this. They put a crown on his head and crowned him the Messiah and Savior of the world. What? What? And Newt Gingrich, good old Newt Gingrich, he used to always go to Mooney events in Korea. Now, I'm sure you hear how bad North Korea is, right? Well, turns out South Korea is just North Korea with lights, and you worship Samsung or the Moonies instead of the one leader. That's all it is. Their suicide rate is higher, much higher than anywhere in Asia, and higher than North Korea. In the good Korea. Isn't that weird?
Really?
almost like they're all full of shit about how everything works. Anyway,
You know, one of the number one academics in like the ex-cult recovery space is a guy named Steve Hassan.
I've seen him
And
talk about that. Yes.
and he, as a college student, was recruited to join the Moonies, and he's an ex-Moonie. And his book, Combating Cult Mind Control, lays out his story. And I couldn't even believe, like, I remember, I think on the streets of Philly when I was little, I remember the Moonies, but like I didn't realize they were even still a thing until I read Steve's book and looked into it a little bit.
I think they own not the Epic Time. The Epic Times is owned by the Falun Gong cult. Which I mean, they do good reporting sometimes. I'm not saying they don't have anything to offer the Epic Times. I've seen them report on things that I was like, okay, that's an accurate, but Christian Science Monitor, that's who made that, the Christian Science, it's right there. What was the one? Washington Times. They had one that wasn't the Post, but it was like Washington Times. That was the Moonies one. And the guy's son now lives in Pennsylvania. Hold on, I'm just getting something. Mark, did you send me? Mark, are you 6'8"? Hold on one goddamn minute. Mark, because I don't know Mark in person. We've only talked on streams from Sam's show. Mark, you are 6'8".
Yeah.
That is, I'm glad I found out now, because if we did meet up and you trying to be 6'8" and I wasn't told, I would lose my shit. That is crazy, dude.
Yeah. Sam Tripoli calls me the Nephilim.
Well, I don't think Nephilims were built like a string bean now, Mark. I think they were wide this way as well. But actually, there's no telling. Maybe you are wide as hell, because I didn't think you were 6'8". Run
to the litter, I think.
Really? Yeah, it could be. Okay, I just saw that you're in the compound. I was like, what the fuck is 6'8"? That's not natural. It's not natural. Anyway, the Moonies were created by the Korean CIA. You ever hear of the Korean CIA? That's what they call their CIA. They call it
what?
Their intelligence agency is called the Korean CIA. I don't think Korean Central Intelligence Agency. It just makes me laugh.
What's it really called, though?
No, it's called, but it's called that. Oh. That's the joke. You're like, what's the Korean CIA called? It is called the Korean CIA, and that's a fact. And they invent, the Moonies are not really a religion; they're a socio-political organization. All these, and I mean, I don't got to tell you how these churches just like to skirt that line of tax exemption and do little tricks to whatever. And all these fucking churches, the Moonies, and I know the Scientology clearly, because although John Mappin is on Candace's side, so that's weird. He also pushes QAnon, which I've never looked into QAnon, like read the drops or anything. I just have heard of it.
John Mappin is one of the most fundamentalist, lunatic, diehard Scientologists that are out there, and he's been making the rounds. Actually, it's funny. So, a friend of mine, Andrew Gold, he's got a big podcast, the Heretics Podcast.
Was he a Scientologist too?
No. But he and I sort of grew our YouTube channels together. He's long since eclipsed me, but he and I did a whole bunch of Scientology content together. He would come on my channel.
I saw some of that, yeah.
And then he texted me one day. He goes, "I think I really fucked up." I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "I think I just accidentally interviewed a Scientologist without knowing he was a Scientologist." And I'm like, "Who did you interview?" He's like,
Will Smith?
Oh, no, he goes, "John Mappin."
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, "How did you end up interviewing John Mappin?" He's like, he's got this castle in England, and the government is trying to force him to, house refugees there, and he's refusing. And so Andrew had him as a guest on the Heretics podcast without actually realizing that he was a Scientologist. And I was like, man, John Mappin's just popping up everywhere, hosting Turning Points events and all this kind of stuff.
Yes, he is, isn't he?
He's a lunatic, man.
He's not the only one, it turns out. And that guy, the Mooney guy, not Andrew Gold, what's his name? The guy who used to be a Mooney, and I've seen.
Oh, Steve Hassan.
Yeah, I was watching him talk to about some other cult, and I'm dying to ask these people, like, because cult mind control, if I bring up cult mind control, nobody will bat an eyelash. They're like, of course that's a thing. Of course they do mind control. But when you bring up government mind control, you are a cuckoo bird. Mm-hmm. So does everybody believe that just the Moonies and just the Scientologists and just the whatever came up with ways of mind control, and the U.S. government and the fucking CIA are not going to do that way better than any fucking. Is everybody a moron? Yeah, no. People are trained because they're mind controlled, and I'm so glad I got you to come on the show, and I want to talk maybe from a cult because I'm dying to know if they know these bizarre similarities. And you brought it up last episode. It was a very interesting thing about how you had never been to like another religion's thing, and it made you realize like you did worship L. Ron Hubbard when they always said we don't worship L. Ron Hubbard.
Yep.
And that's the thing, dude. If you're siloed into a thing, like until you find out, like how are you gonna know? Like, and there's no crossover with shit, or very little.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Until I had an experience where I was in a Baptist church with a bunch of Baptist ministers and seeing how they kept referring to the Bible and quoting the Bible and all this stuff. That's what it took for me to realize, oh my God, we did worship L. Ron Hubbard. We literally worshipped L. Ron Hubbard while, falling for the mind trick that we were not. And the other thing, since I mentioned Steve Hassan, even after I was out of Scientology, which I officially was out in 2014, and I no longer believed any of it. L. Ron Hubbard's a con man, Scientology's a cult and everything. I no longer believed any of it. I didn't realize I was still holding on to this idea that it was at least a special type of bullshit. It was at least a special type of.
I think it is. I mean, there's something about it.
There's something about it, but I got to tell you, it wasn't until I was reading Steve Hassan's book, Combating Cult Mind Control, and he was talking about the Moonies, he was talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses, that I had this overwhelming like cascade of emotion, realizing that Scientology is the techniques that it uses to control its members and their behavior and their access to information and their thoughts and their emotions, garden variety bullshit. And I found myself literally sobbing while listening to this audiobook, coming to the conclusion that Scientology wasn't even special bullshit. I was involved in garden variety bullshit, and I didn't realize I was still holding on to this idea that I was like, but it was at least special bullshit, wasn't it? No,
Yeah, well, not the way you thought.
There are some unique parts of Scientology that make it uniquely manipulative to its members, but by and large, garden variety cult leader bullshit.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Well, what is that though? At the end of the day, I'm gonna get Chase. You ever see Chase Hughes?
No.
He's an ex-CIA psychologist, but he's got like a test to see if you're being psyoped for people.
Oh.
Now, I don't need to I don't have Asperger's, so I don't need to sit and make a listicle of why I think you're bullshitting me. I'm just going to say I think I'm being bullshit. And I may or may not click off a score that leads to that. But people do need that. And so the manipulation techniques, this is what I'm curious to know, because we just covered the TPUSA and Candace Owens back and forth yesterday. Have you noticed the cult techniques involved that TPUSA is using, such as how dare you ask a widow questions? They're doing all the fucking tricks from Scientology. People just didn't look at the internet. Like you didn't even have to, because all the shit's on the internet.
Scientology actually gave all of its members, and this was like in the 90s, a DVD to put into their computers that was basically a filter and a net nanny. It wouldn't let any web pages that had any information about Scientology load on their computers.
That's good. So you don't have to think. You could just do it.
And those aren't effective anymore. But Scientologists, they're allowed to go on the internet. They are not allowed to read anything negative about Scientology. And if they do, they have to go in and basically confess and make amends.
So on your jail tablet, you had more freedom to look at things.
Yeah. I mean, jail was better than being in the Sea Org.
Oh, I bet, dude.
I mean, I spent 7 years working on Sea Org bases, and jail. I had more freedom in jail than I had working as a Scientology Sea Org member.
What do you think? I mean, I bet. I don't doubt you. What do you think somebody could get away with in Scientology if they were really bad and they were highly placed enough? Like,
that's easily.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny Masterson showed us what you can get away with.
You know what? What a dumb question. You're right. Well, Danny Masterson showed us.
You can just get away with raping, just all the raping you want. Join
So just the
Scientology.
standard American package of when you're really beloved, luminaries such as Danny
Yeah.
Masterson, of course, is
No,
going to go there.
Scientology has shown people that you can rape people. You just can't tell the police that you've been raped.
Oh, that goes double for the Epstein case. So right now, because I'm still waiting to find, I can't wait to find out because I don't know what your opinion is on, but I just judge when you say something wrong, then I'll say something. I don't have to like you. I could maybe dislike you, and I will be forced if your point is good for me to go, well, I can't, how am I going to argue? I don't like Nick Fuentes, but Piers Morgan looked like a real dipshit talking to him, even though I really dislike that Fuentes guy. Okay. Like, I can't not give it to him, So what I see with Candace Owens is people just don't like her. Then when I ask them, okay, so yeah, no, I get it. She lied before. Like all pundits are fucking liars funded by some crazy billionaire. All of them are that. Do you not notice the other side? Like people will notice the lower level liars before they'll look upward above them. So in Scientology, you probably saw where it's like, even if they did handle something, they're like, that we got the bad man, but don't worry about the
Totally.
infrastructure that created that and allows it to this very day.
I mean, it's true. There's something about it's hard to truly understand the degree to which a cult can control the thoughts of its members, even otherwise intelligent people. I generally consider myself of at least average intelligence, and I'm embarrassed to admit that my entire time in Scientology, it never even occurred to me that anything we were ever told at our annual international events was false. Like when I never even questioned that there weren't millions of members, even though all the evidence that there were not millions of members was right in front of my eyes. I never questioned that the political leaders of the world were begging Scientology for solutions. Like anything David Miscavige said up there on stage, I believed. Now, I was brought into it as a child. I started working for them full time from the age of 12 to the age of 26. It's not like I just walked in off the street and fell for Scientology's bullshit.
26 is when you left?
26 is when I stopped working for them full time. 34 is when I left.
Oh, you were in there a long time.
I was in for 30 years.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Interesting. So I left my thing when I was 21. So I'm born in it, but I believed it too. I wasn't like some people were like in because they had to be because their parents, but I believed it up until, when somebody gives you a package that this is the answer to literally everything. When it's not, then you're going to have some questions. When it doesn't do what they told you it does, then it might start to dawn on you,
Yeah.
So
when you were on your way out, because I actually don't know anything about your story of how you ended up leaving. Did you have any of this, did you have any sort of this crisis? Like, what do I believe? What do I don't believe kind of thing? Like,
It began because I worked at the Wiz and I would go on my lunch break, go to Barnes and Noble and just flip through magazines, and I was flipping through Skeptic magazine, which is Michael Shermer's magazine, I think.
Oh, wow.
And so that was the first thing where I even had an inkling of counter arguments to anything. Okay. Because most of my arguments would be with doctrinal based arguments with other people that already have the basis of the Bible is obviously true. Right. And not just true, in a reasonable way, but I was told God wrote the Bible the way L. Ron Hubbard wrote Dianetics, but he wrote it through people. So people, I guess, were channeling him. They say inspired. All scripture is inspired by God. Now, that doesn't really mean the same thing as God wrote it. It just doesn't. You dress it up however you want, but inspired by is not that far from based on true events on the scale of 1-to-1 accuracy. So I'm not against the Bible. In fact, I think there's plenty of valuable shit in the Bible that I apply to my life every day. But the very idea that you would think it's exact words up to, there's one, to me, a level of crazy is well, the cosmology is correct. All right. And then some people go even further where there's a code hidden in the letters. A guy comments all the time to me.
The Bible code?
And I go, well, honestly, I thought the Bible was supposed to be a really important message if you believe in it. Why would God hide a code? I thought
That's a good
God
point.
would want me to know what I'm supposed to know without having to be an Enigma code cracker from World War II. I would think God would just tell you.
Code? Is that what you're talking about? Did you read that book, The Bible Code?
I never read the book, but I hate saying debunk because it means nothing.
I remember.
But
back when they had the Columbia, back when those Columbia House things where you could get 20 CV and 10 books, I got that Bible Code book and I read it. And I remember the rationale for it was like it was specifically done that way so that information would only be revealed at the right time when society had developed the technology to unlock that message. But you could only search for things retroactively. You can never search, if you read the book, you can never actually search for things to predict anything. It's always like,
Well, they have prophecies in there, and that's why I didn't understand why I would need to do a letter number cipher, because
Right.
there's already a lot of prophecies in there that any Christian will be glad to tell you all about.
yeah,
I just draw. Here's what I boiled down to: anything that's like from God, if it is from God, I don't believe personally that God is into esoterica, which is where a selected elect have the secret knowledge, and you have to work your way up to know. I don't believe God works like an intel agency. See, intel agencies work like Scientology or the Masons or the Vatican or the whoever has a secret vault of shit that you can't see. Why would your religion have that? Why on earth would anybody have a vault of secrets in their church of that's supposed to be from? Well, I mean, Scientology isn't Christian. I'm saying this purely out of my, but like, do you think that's how God would work? He would make it. You have to go through a middleman dipshit every time for every little aspect of your life. You don't suspect there might be something, some scam here. I can't help but feel like there is.
yeah.
I feel
Well, I'll tell you what. Other than like TV preachers, I had never actually been exposed to any of the information in the Bible before, and the only shows you can watch in jail are Jesus shows.
Oh, what is your?
And The Chosen. Have you seen it?
Is that that guy who the new, not Jim Caviezel, but the new Jesus guy that does interviews like kind
Jonathan
of as if,
Brummy.
yeah,
Jonathan Brummy.
yeah,
Brummy?
yeah.
He
I
looks
don't
just
trust
like
him.
Jesus. He looks just like Jesus.
Yeah. Well, the historical Jesus, as they keep changing as it goes on. Also, he's got Knights of Malta cross. He has these like skull rings he's bragging about, and these rings from all the great esoteric clubs that are up to no good around the world for thousands of years. He has rings of them. So that's the Knights of Malta. Just pick any stupid fucking thing from medieval times that people, Pete Hegseth. Remember they said he had racist tattoos?
Yeah.
It's so much weirder than that. Those are bizarro medieval Templar fucking knight based esoteric Christianity tattoos with deep bizarro occult ties to them. But I mean, Nazis were into a cult, but those aren't Nazi tattoos. That's wackadoo. And when you mention John Madden being a whack job at these things, you ever see General Flynn?
No.
He's the guy that the Democrats.
No. I mean, have I ever seen him? Yes, but I've never seen him at like a Mappin event.
And I think it's the Reawaken America conference where Kash Patel met his beard, his Israeli Mossad beard. It's not his girlfriend. Idiots. I'm watching people go like, oh, he took a private FBI jet to go see his girlfriend's wrestling event. Wait a minute. So you tell me his super hot girlfriend who's not maybe a secret agent or whatever, he don't live with her. He lives with a man in Vegas. Do you know any straight guys that do that? I don't. He had to have special rule changes to live with a man in Vegas. That's a fact. That's not a thing I made up. Now, in my opinion, that makes you gay, obviously.
Wait. I don't think Kash Patel is gay, but his boyfriend definitely is. No, his boyfriend is.
That's good. For legal reasons, just his boyfriend's gay. That's right. Thank you, Aaron, for correcting me. He became a lawyer in the big house, so he knows what to say. So you hear like people are like bewildered that Kash Patel won't leave the FBI.
Uh-oh, it froze again. Oh no, what happened?
Oh, now we've reversed. This thing they're doing work outside. Like I don't know whose fault this is. But I suspect a lot of viewers are going to blame Mark because somebody's always attacking Mark in here for some reason. Mark, who did you piss off that they're after you? Anyway, all these freaks meet at these. So if you're not into Christianity or somebody else's religion to that degree, you're not going to know any more about it than you saw in a Netflix documentary, right? Or whatever. But if you go look at what these people believe and what they're saying, what you find out is, one, they're none of them are the religion they're telling you they are. None of them. They're all doing like a weird Will Smith thing where is Will Smith Scientologist?
He was he was one of the only people who was ever allowed to lie about being a Scientologist
Why?
when he was in Scientology. Him and Jada were both in Scientology. Jada did more Scientology than Will did. And yeah, and then they left, and then they pretended they were never really in. It's just so weird. Those two are so weird.
What a strange family of, they're like in the closet about being gay and Scientology. It's like triple closeting.
Right.
of like, that is so bizarre that I don't know, like, oh, I wonder why there's conspiracy theories about shit.
Yeah.
When the levels
That's
of
a whole
deception.
nother level. Those two are crazy.
Well, all these people are connected at these wackadoo. I think it's called the New Apostolic Reformation is like one of the movements. There's also the Seven Mountains. You've probably heard Dominionism, at least by a hysterical Democrat. They're not wrong. It's crazy, Dominionism. All of these religions come like this kind of weird evangelical quasi thing that they're all Freemasons and Catholics are welcome and Hindus are welcome, like Kash Patel. Again, that's where he met his girlfriend, his fake fucking beard girlfriend, in my opinion. And General Flynn spoke there. Now, I've been told by victims of the program that General Flynn was a MK handler, and he was a victim himself. They call it going conscious when you get your memories back. This is what I was told. I don't know if that is true, but I find it easy to believe. He went conscious and stayed part of the thing, and he's in something called the McChrystal Network. Do you remember General McChrystal? He's the guy that got fired for talking shit about Obama, and a Rolling Stone reporter wrote about it, and then Obama fired him.
I remember that.
Him and Flynn together look like a couple of lizard people wearing human masks. If you ever look at a picture, McChrystal has some consulting thing. The guy that wrote that article died 1 month later because his car went out of control and sped into a pole.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I didn't even know about that, and I already suspected him of whatever because I have friends that are victims of cults. The cult you were in, there's people that were in, or I say call about Jehovah's Witnesses. I didn't get molested. In fact, I got kept out of trouble. I didn't join the military. Thank you, God. I didn't fucking ever vote like a chump because they taught us that God hates all the countries. You have to respect the law, but God doesn't approve of any of them. None of them work for God. He allows them to be here, but he will destroy them one day. And boy, is that what an appealing teaching. So good on them for that. So we were supposed to be no part of the world. We didn't go live on a compound, but it meant like you're not part of all the bullshit, like what Jesus said. So good for them for that. Not so good on them for covering up all the abuse things. That's where they lose me. But all these people, because I've been in one, I really do have a knack for either meeting ex-Jehovah's, a lot of ex-Scientologists I meet, a lot of people in cults that were way worse than any of those things that you don't hear about. And a lot of those cults are all through Hollywood. And part of their cult is hiding out in other people's cults. So, when you hear about shapeshifters and shit?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how real that is. I really don't. I've never seen anybody shapeshift. But if you think of it metaphorically, imagine back in the day, like such as the Sabbateans or the Frankists, who are like the Aleister Crowley version of Jews, basically, like they're anti-Jews. And William Brandeis was one. He was a devotee of Jakob Frank. And they taught real gross shit from the family, that 60s cult that River Phoenix's family was in, and Rose McGowan's family was in.
That's right. That's right. Joaquin Phoenix grew up in a fundamentalist cult, didn't he?
Well, fundamentalists where they all fuck each other as if they were Sabbatean Frankists. Those fundamentals, not really biblical, I must say. As a guy that had to read it a lot, they tell you to not do that.
Is Scientology the only cult that did not turn into a sex cult? Maybe if
I'm haunted by
longer.
that, Aaron. I can't figure that out. I honestly, because I've said that truism that all cults become sex cults, and you shattered that when you said that to me, and it just it'll come to me eventually. But it just that's a detail. That's the only reason I want to do this show is to hear one detail like that. Really. Because I just want to know what the fuck's going on, dude. And the way I can figure it out is I get a little odd detail that nobody would know unless they were in the thing, and it's one everybody else overlooked, like a flea market.
And also you mentioned earlier Doomsday cult. Or Doomsday, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons Scientology is not a Doomsday cult is because they don't believe in heaven or hell or God or the devil or anything. They don't believe in some sort of Armageddon type situation. They do believe, though, that mankind will blow itself up with nuclear bombs. And the only reason that's bad is because it will be hard for people to do Scientology.
I meant to ask, what exactly is doing Scientology? I know you hold spinach cans and do the lie detector test.
Yes.
But is there any other aspect to it?
Well, you hold those you hold those spinach cans and you basically do this kind of a one-on-one counseling procedure designed to get rid of what L. Ron Hubbard called your reactive mind, which was like his version of Fortean's subconscious, right? What?
Don't I need that? Don't I need that reactive mind to help me do things like leave Scientology?
Yes. Okay. So once you get rid of your own reactive mind, that's because L. Ron Hubbard says that's the cause of everything that's wrong with you. All your insecurities, fears, pains, illnesses, it all comes from the reactive mind. Once you get rid of your own reactive mind, Hubbard then explains to you that you actually have hundreds of thousands of sick alien spirits stuck to your body that all have their own reactive minds. Now you have to telepathically communicate with those beings to get rid of their reactive minds so they will leave your body and go pick up a body and grow up to be a healthy, productive member of society.
Well, he really mingled a lot of things together from a lot of religions, didn't he? That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So you're possessed by a Dybbuk in Kabbalah. We call that a Dybbuk, a body thetan. That's a human, but he's saying they're alien. That's a little twist on it. But
they came from other planets in the Galactic Confederacy, the body thetans.
Right. And so he called it Confederacy, although that Israeli intel officer from Unit 82 came out and said, it seems like a shot or some whatever. He's a piece of shit. He goes, oh, there's a Galactic Federation. So I'm wondering.
Hubbard specifically called it the Galactic Confederacy.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
now maybe they're fighting against the Federation.
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's all I'm trying to figure out, Aaron. Or is the Federation and the Confederacy? I just want to know who's anti-Semitic. Anyway,
the Galactic Confederacy is the one using Earth as a prison planet, and that was Xenu. Xenu did that.
That's a nice Gnostic thing. The prisons, the material world is bad. It's actually a prison. So it's amazing.
And Xenu used psychiatry, which was developed on the planet Farsec, as a tool to control populations. And that's why Scientologists hate psychiatry so much.
What planet?
Farsec.
How do you spell that?
Farsec.
Oh, two C's.
Yeah. All psychiatrists come from the planet Farsec.
Well,
one C.
Oh, there's only one C. I thought you said CC. My bad. Well,
Farsec.
That's well, so by the way, here's what magic is. Occult magic. It's psychology. So you know his hatred of psychology? Almost as a competitor.
Yeah.
Or you ever see a pickup artist? Pickup artists are doing NLP, right?
Oh, okay.
Andrew Tate, if you don't ever heard this guy, Iggy Semmelweis, it's not his real name. He's some nerd from, I forget where he's from. He was in two weird cults, Rajneesh cults that you might have seen from, and he looks like one of those pickup guys from the early 2000s. Like, remember Mystery? That would wear a big hat and he would peacock, they call it. That's why I wear this dumb shit when I do it. Those techniques are a way of domain projection. Okay. And Aleister Crowley, who Hubbard was a devotee of in the beginning, even if he was faking, but I think he was a dedicated saint. I think Nibs is right.
I think he believed it. I think he believed it.
Well, but what I'm saying is Nibs, his son, remember when he said, look, the dude's a Satanist, he thinks he is Satan. I think Nibs is not lying. I think Nibs is telling the truth about that.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Because the big thing about Satanism is becoming a god yourself. You don't have to worship Satan. That's the thing. The key, people don't get this. You don't have to believe in anything. You got to, I worship me. I'm Satan and Jesus. You have a lot of that going around. That's all it is.
Question for you. Do you think your average or better than average successful cult leader believes the stuff they tell their followers? Or do you think they're intentionally?
I think it comes in waves. I think it goes in waves. If you ever look at Sabotage Zevi, the guy who created, so the first greatest catastrophe in Judaism, was the false messiah sabbatai Zevi. There's a book by Gershom Scholem that's very good about this cult. It goes back a long way, and they're connected to a lot of other cults. Again, there's nothing anti-Semitic or like the Jews' banks and all. I'm not. The Templar Knights invented banks. They weren't Jewish. The Templar Knights, they were Catholic. That's where we get banks from, not from the Jews. We get them from the Catholics, from a weird, creepy order within the Catholics. Anyway, like 50 to 60, so in 1492, Turkey, the country Turkey, saved a bunch of Jews. That's how I always remember it. Because Spain expelled them. Okay. And keep in mind, a lot of people, it's a diaspora, and a lot of people, like my friend Big J, who I'm godfather to his daughter, Jay doesn't give a shit about that, okay? Even though he's like, his mom's Jewish, so he's Jewish, and so Jay doesn't take offense at shit, but when someone is genuinely like, I don't like you because you're a Jew, he picks it right up, like you would when you're like, it tells, right? But he's not in, and so imagine you're pretty secular, you're not into nothing, and people hate you for this thing. You probably start to resent it, the thing. Why do I have this laid on my fucking back? I was just born, and I don't care about any of it, right?
It's interesting. A Big J Okerson is Jewish?
Yeah, but not like, no, but yeah.
I know that. I'm only Jewish on my father's side, so technically it doesn't count.
Well, yeah, and by the way, that's stupid. I don't even understand that. Well,
I never understood it either. I never understood it either.
Matrilineal DNA, and if you look at the royal families of
so you know how I have the two last names, Smith and Levin, Smith Levin.
Yeah.
So Smith is my mom's name, Levin is my dad's name. So if my mom hadn't wanted to put her name on there, my name would be Aaron Levin, which is a pretty Jewish name.
I would assume you're a Levite. I would assume you're the priest class because Levin, Aaron, the brother of Moses.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, you don't know this shit.
Aharon Levine. No, so Aaron was the brother of Moses. That's all I know. Someone told me that when I was a kid, and I've remembered that forever. But I don't actually know any of the story back then. I don't know any of the story.
Aaron was the brother of Moses.
Was he older brother, younger brother?
I think older, if I recall correctly, and he was the high priest. And anyway, whatever. Who cares? Like, a lot of people don't give a shit about that. Okay, and they don't want to have it. So you can see it's ripe. You can see the situation is ripe for. I need a solution to this.
Gotta tell you a story. When I was running for Clearwater City Council a few years ago, I was going on every channel I could just to get the word out, and I accidentally went on the channel of a raging anti-Semite and a raging evangelical anti-Semite. Rick something or other. I don't know. Oh. I was denounced by the Anti-Defamation League for going on this guy's podcast. I had no idea. I just figured he was an evangelical. I didn't know. Rick Wiles? Rick Wiles, maybe?
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
When we were doing the pre-interview, and all this stuff was going right over my head when he's like, so Levin, what kind of name is that?
So okay, dude. So that's the kind of thing Jay would pick up on me. I mean, it's not hard to pick up on what he's laying down right there, but Jay doesn't give a fuck about that shit other than like, if you're anyway. So there's a whole bunch of these people in 1492 because hey, I'm rich, I don't care about none of this. And so the well-to-do start following this guy, Sabbatai Zevi, who had bipolar disorder, they think. Who knows what the fuck was wrong with him? But he starts thinking he's the Messiah, and 6% of all the Jews went with him. They followed his heretical version of Judaism. There was a bunch of rabbis that did not like this, that were like real, like, I get, loyal to their own fucking thing. That's why it's called the biggest catastrophe. The first Messiah in Judaism is largely considered to be Cyrus of Persia, who had them build the second temple. I'm way into all the history of all this shit. And I'm not like, I don't have any fucking prejudice against anybody. I care what you do. I don't care about your fucking bloodline. Anyway, this guy was a whack job. And the only reason he got, and so he's bipolar. So he's all up. He's like, I'm the Messiah, right? And then he'd get depressed. And he's like, I'm not what is this nonsense? Right? So a lot of these cult leaders have mental disorders, but there's always a second guy. Now, David Miscavige kind of fits, but he was a kid when he came in. But there's always this guy that there's a Roy Kroc to McDonald's. The McDonald's brothers have this hamburger stand. Roy Kroc franchises it. All these religions have a similar thing. So
Yeah.
you start out with like a guy who's getting like visions for whatever reason. I'm not saying they're because he's crazy. Maybe he's crazy. Maybe they're vision. Who knows? But he has to be paired with like an agent that's like making him. And the guy for this guy, Sabtai Zevi, was Nathan of Gaza, who was the most respected Kabbalist of his day. And the only reason that this whack job was respected is because, these Kabbalists at this time were like nuclear physicists. Or I don't know if you have any Jewish friends who are like, oh, he's a doctor. Like they just respect doctors too much, even if they're like corrupt, and they'll take Bibi gave them the vaccine first, the Pfizer vaccine. Bibi made a deal to test it out on Jews first. I thought the point of Israel is so that don't happen no more, but who am I? So you have somebody that you trust. It's like a groomer or something, right? Somebody you trust to guide you into the madman's fucking thing. And I see that in every religion. I don't know who L. Ron Hubbard's first like Apostle Paul was. Is it Miscavige? But like, who is it?
He really didn't have someone like that. I mean, there was his wife, Mary Sue. Mary Sue was considered sort of his.
She had
deputy.
to take the hit.
She took the hit. She went to prison. She went to prison. What's funny is that in like the McDonald's situation where you had the McDonald's people, but Roy Kroc actually turned it into something. Scientology was actually expanding under L. Ron Hubbard, but under David Miscavige, it's absolutely collapsing.
Yeah. So what changed that? I mean, besides the guy's a maniac, obviously, but
yeah.
What else changed? When an organization is failing, they start accepting money. So Jerry Falwell, I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
His stupid Liberty University that only an imbecile thinks is a real college. They were going out of business, but then they took money from Reverend Sung Young Moon.
Wow.
That's why they're crowning him the fucking Messiah in Congress in 2004. That's real. It still sounds crazy.
You know who Scientology got into bed with?
Who?
Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Oh my God, that's interesting. All right, wait, hold on.
Did we talk about this last time?
No, we don't. I got a pack. Hold on one second. I grabbed this package. Mark, you come on and tell him about how you're freakishly tall. This is crazy. All right, hold 1 sec.
Okay, I must have missed it. He's going to get a package.
What kind of package? I don't know.
What's in the box?
Yeah. Hi. Sorry to the audience for being a total retard and causing the stream to lag. It happens. But Aaron, you're a great guest. You're picking up the slack.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I want to tell the story about Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, but I know Kurt's going to want to hear it, and the audience doesn't need to hear it twice. But I'm looking at the live chat. Who's got some questions until Kurt gets back? Yeah, Farrakhan. So Louis Farrakhan himself ordered all of the members of the Nation of Islam to read Dianetics, take the Dianetics course, do Dianetics auditing, and achieve Scientology's state of clear. And, Scientology pays out commissions. It's got a commission structure for people that introduce new people to Scientology. And so you've got Louis Farrakhan and one of his number one deputies, Tony Muhammad, just making money hand over fist over from all the members of the NOI that are doing Scientology courses and doing Scientology's auditing. It's crazy.
Well, I hear Kurt.
How was Mark? Was he tall while I was gone?
Very
was Mark
tall.
weirdly tall while I was gone? Wait, so tell me, I think I've heard a little something about it, but please tell me all about this.
So Louis Farrakhan, I'm going to forget how many years ago this was, but
oh, by the way, Derp with Kurp Derps are coming out soon.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a Scientologist, one of these named Alfredi Johnson, who was a Black Baptist minister who somehow got introduced to Scientology and pretended to continue to be a Baptist minister, but that was really just a cover, kind of like people hiding in other people's cults.
Whoa,
Alfredi Johnson introduces Tony Muhammad, one of Louis Farrakhan's deputies, to Dianetics and Scientology. Convinces Tony Muhammad that Dianetics can cure all the trauma that the young Black men in the Nation of Islam have from, just being raised in abusive households and stuff. He gets Tony Muhammad hooked. Tony Muhammad introduces Louis Farrakhan himself to Dianetics and Scientology. Louis Farrakhan orders every single member of the Nation of Islam to do the Dianetics course, take the Dianetics training, do the Dianetics auditing, and achieve Scientology's state of clear. And Scientology has
Yo, it froze up right when you got to Louis Farrakhan ordered everyone to do it.
Okay.
It froze up on me. So sorry.
Okay,
It was like right when I was at the height of wanting to hear this, it just cut out on me.
Louis Farrakhan ordered every single member of the Nation of Islam to do the Dianetics auditor course and audit each other on the Dianetics processes to achieve Scientology's state of clear. And so the Detroit org, the Chicago org, the DC org, Scientology calls their buildings orgs. These orgs are basically just been taken over by the Nation of Islam. They're basically Nation of Islam centers. And David Miscavige and the Scientology, David Miscavige and Scientology formed a partnership with Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. And to the best I can tell, the only one profiting off of this is Scientology and Louis Farrakhan himself. I don't think the Nation of Islam profits off of this. Scientology pays commissions. You know this. They got a commission structure.
I did not know.
Yeah. So if you're a Scientologist and you bring someone in, you get like a 10 to 15% commission on every dollar that person gives to Scientology forever, as long as you continue to like be their sort of mentor while they're in Scientology, right?
My sales funnel, I get started. Yes. Okay.
Exactly. And so Tony Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan are making tons and tons of money from sending their people to Scientology. And then Scientology, it's so weird. Like, I've been meaning to find a Nation of Islam person that I could actually interview about this, because the belief system of the NOI and the belief system of Scientology are not compatible. And yet you have Nation of Islam members becoming full-blown Scientologists. Now,
Well,
you
know
do
what's
not have it the
compatible?
other way around.
Right.
You don't have it the other way around.
No.
There's no one in Scientology joining the Nation of Islam.
Will Smith never tested those waters. Well, they're compatible in that they both have UFO shit, don't they?
So I've heard, I don't know what the Nation of Islam believes. I've heard them called a UFO cult, but I don't know what they believe in terms of that.
They're well, look, all these cults, I can't tell people this enough. When you are a dark occultist and you're going to OTO, Golden Dawn, I don't know, the Joy of Satan, there's a million stupid names. Call them a coven. Are you frozen? Fuck.
It froze a little bit.
What is
but it's back in.
happening? Okay. So I found this out like about a year ago. The final initiation, or the bridge to total freedom, you would call it in Scientology, because that's how these frats work. You get initiated, you pay money, you pay money, and you move up the ladder, and then you get fed another mystery sandwich at each level. That's how it goes back to Egypt, that system. So it does actually have an ancient pedigree, but it's a fucking mind control. And so what they have in common is, how do I mind control my fucking followers to give me their shit? So actually, they're incredibly compatible. I find people that are in pain, probably molested. I mean, it's this tale every fucking where somebody finds one of these things. It's how hookers are made. You get turned out by a pimp. That's what happens. And so these leaders, they basically are a coven, and they create these religious fronts to look respectable, like they're good. Then they get, it's called the left-hand path. You go all the way up the shortest path to all the power. Mormons know all about that. Well, not the right-hand path Mormons. They don't know about that. If you ask them, like, oh, what? That sounds crazy. I just believe that Jesus visited the fucking Indians in America. I don't believe craziness. but they're all covens. And Jehovah's Witnesses, like I said, some left-hand path Rosicrucians, apparently, invented it. Charles Taze Russell was the guy who came up with it. And if you look him up, when he gets debunked by people, they'll tell you how he's a scam artist. They're all scam artists, all of them. They're all pickup artists at the end of the day. And so I don't know, is Louis Farrakhan, is he running a sex cult? I haven't heard that, but I know Elijah Muhammad was, right?
Yeah, I don't know about all that. But the Scientology cross, I believe, was taken from the Rosicrucian cross.
That's
if there's any other connection
dude,
there.
I'm glad you pointed that out because I forgot that was the case. I completely forgot about that, and that is more evidence that Nibs is correct about the Satanism. Rosicrucians are, and I live in Austin. They're all over the fucking place here, dude. They're gross as shit. Their whole thing is like, oh, it's all the same thing. That cross. Most of these things are a mental overlay to program you. So you memorize the things and images and iconography. A brand, let's call it. That's a sigil. That is a sigil. All the major companies, Starbucks famously has Melisoon, who's the two mermaid legs, right? Because it's a port in a storm.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, that's not. I think that's Echidna, and that guy's a scumbag occultist who runs it. And I'm basing it on every interview I see with him. He's the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen since some Miscavige or any of them. It's always extract wealth out of the people and fuck them if they don't like it. That's all of them have the same thing because money grows on the tree of knowledge, as Tracy Twyman wrote in a book. The Babylonian money magic is, you'll hear the phrase, that's what they're all doing. It's money magic. They make money. It's really amazing. It's like Andrew Tate and Farrakhan, and they're all like the same guy, except Scientology, where it's not about sex, even though clearly it happens, but it's not like, that's probably why Scientology is losing members, because they should have converted to a sex cult.
It is amazing that Scientology manages to shrink and fail when other cults and some might even say weirder cults manage to keep attracting new members. Like it doesn't say very much for David Miscavige's managerial capabilities.
Well, that the merger that you described that I didn't really know about is interesting. That's corporate shit to keep the company going. We got to keep the company going. And other guys that run a scam, they're going to want to be in it on this, So if he did that with that guy, that's why I think that's outsourcing is what it is. What's his name? Farrakhan. Hey, I'm going to outsource. I'm successful enough. I'm going to outsource this to Scientology,
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, did we freeze again? Damn, it's getting worse. It's getting more frequent. I'm going to wait for it to unfreeze before I keep going.
Yeah. It's crazy. This is
there
crazy.
There you are. I know that when Tom Cruise first started, openly, publicly promoting Scientology back in 2004, 2005, Scientologists thought for sure this was going to be it. This is going to be what pushed Scientology to take over the world. Tom Cruise would be, an unstoppable force. And boy, how quickly that failed, right? That guy doesn't even talk about Scientology anymore.
He better not. Well, in fairness, going back to the Matt Lauer interview, because Matt Lauer's gone and Tom's still here. Tom was right about all those SSRI drugs, and 100% he was right. And he was right about giving kids meth, which is what they do.
Yeah. But what was he saying really that he was right about? That it just happens too much?
They cut this out usually. This is I just found this out not that long ago. In his cuckoo interview, a couple of things they cut out was about giving kids like Ritalin and Adderall and all those, and about how bad they cut that part out. Which the part I agree with, because we know it's like that. So you could fucking talk crazy, but don't go against Big Pharma, motherfucker. Number one. Big.
I got to tell you, the reason I don't give Tom Cruise for getting anything right in that interview is because he wasn't actually being honest about what he believes. And if he was honest about it, nobody would be saying he was right. So he chose to pick specific items and buttons that he knew he could get agreement from the general public. But the truth is, he doesn't think anyone should ever see a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a counselor or a therapist for any reason whatsoever. And he thinks they are the root of all evil and decline in civilization. Like the fact that he happens to say these medications are being used too much is like, yeah, but that's not actually what you think. You think nobody should ever be on any medication at any time for any reason.
Yeah, right. And a larger point, your master that you worship, the only reason he didn't like, and that museum about the evils of psychology, I don't think they're wrong. But the thing is, I think L. Ron Hubbard was mad because he's trying to fuck the competition for his own thing that's wrong.
That's
right.
You're
already following a mind control thing, but look, that's why I say I don't care if I like you or people that have a grudge against another evil thing will tell you they're dirty laundry. So, for example, the Ukraine war that has been a failure, and Ukraine is not going to win. I don't know if everyone's a fucking idiot, but right when it started, we've reported on it for 3 years on Jimmy's show. It's been very apparent unless you know nothing and don't want to know anything. And they fucking, when you tell basic facts like Canada saluted a literal Nazi because he was Ukrainian. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. That should be a game over. Saluting a Nazi, your entire government salutes, not a fucking guy that wouldn't take his kid to drag lessons, like a World War II Nazi. and no, just move. And what did Trudeau say? That's Russian propaganda. Okay, here's my question. So, it's true, ain't it? You dumb fuck. It's still true. I don't care if the truth helps Russia. I'm with the truth. If you lose because you're a liar, go fuck yourself. That's what everyone should say, but they don't because they're trained better than. This is my worst, the thing I hate the most about leaving any kind of cult. There's no freedom. Once you get out, you realize everybody's in a cult. There's nowhere to go. Everybody is a fucking. So the only reason I can identify shit, not because I'm so smart at all, but I was in a thing. It's almost like a vaccine I had. That I'm immunized to certain things. You can get me in other ways. You ain't gonna get me with the shit that gets other people because I already been through it, you know?
Yep. Yeah. No, it's true. There's so many things that are so culty. And then I guess, you know, you can have something that's culty, but it's not necessarily a destructive cult. They're not necessarily preying on its members, you know, like the Swifties. The Swifties are a cult, but they're not a destructive cult. At least
I beg to differ.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're a destructive cult.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Taylor Swift amnesia syndrome?
No.
Oh, well, it was a wacky news item from a couple of years ago. On her tour, I don't know who the fuck goes see Taylor Swift. It's like millennial moms and their kids. They were mad because they couldn't remember any of the show, and it cost them. This is like really irritating. Taylor.
Are we back? We're back.
Mm-hmm. If you go look on your phone, put Taylor Swift amnesia. Look at your phone. It'll come right up.
Remember the show?
Okay. Have you ever in your whole life, even as a sheltered Scientologist kid, heard of people complaining they went to a concert? I'm not on my phone or Wi-Fi. No, I don't think it's me, but I don't know what it is. It's probably.
It's not me. It's not me.
Somebody. It's like finding out who farted. You know. I mean, maybe I dealt it because I smelt it. I don't know. Anyway, do you think that's? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that from Woodstock, the druggiest festival in the world, that people can't remember one part of it.
No, never heard of that.
Yeah, a fan of the show told me it has something to do with the lights they were flashing. Oh, well, that sounds detrimental to. Oh, this is the becoming untenable. God damn it. This derping is too much for me. Let me make sure there's nothing with Wi-Fi on. Let me check comments first because I finally figured out how to activate super chats.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go to the starred comments. Let's see. Flick off 1872. Yo, Kurp, image search Pope's audience hall. Why the flick is the inside and outside a serpent? Well, because they're Ophite serpent worshippers. And we've been talking about cults infiltrating, and they've been doing it for thousands of years. And it's how you take power. Titan, $20. Thank you. Oh, Kurt, please look at Mud Fossil University. Roger Spur has impeccable giant DNA research that deserves attention. Stay spiritually frosty. Bear Stearns repo trader. Oh, that's very interesting. I would like to learn more about that. Bear Stearns, that's okay. User EO, whatever this says. Hi, Kirk. He tells about the mind control in Jehovah's Witnesses, the subliminal artwork in the magazine, the radionic Abrams machines. I don't know what that is. And Michael Jackson being J.W. Warlocks. Okay, his mom was the Jehovah. His dad, I think, satanically abused him, is what I currently think happened. It's a common thing. You hear it all the time now in rap and R&B, but they got to country music first. The CIA and the weird shit you've heard of, they first infiltrated country. Mormons working for the CIA, they got them first. Gangster rap is when they really said, and that's when Whackin' Hut. Remember Whackin' Hut from Florida? The weird. Well, look up Whackin' Hut. They're creepy. Right around then, Whackin' Hut owned all these private prisons, and that's when, and they owned the music industry as part of it, and they started pushing gangster rap to subliminally push black people into prison. And guess what? It worked great. Okay, Joe's. I'll tell you something that I know of Joe's Witnesses. I don't know the other things you said, but I dated a redhead chick that sucked, but she was such a monster lay, you know. And I look back now, and I realize she looked like the whore of Babylon from the Revelation book that we had, or the red woman that L. Ron Hubbard would yap about.
Well, so Mary Sue Hubbard was a redhead. So, and redheads, the giants are supposedly redheads. The point is, whatever is true about what that means, there's a thing called resonance in occult. And so the Babylon, these are names that resonate. The name Charlie Kirk has a mystical. Oh, damn, it froze again.
We froze.
All right, we're back.
Read the next comment. Kurt, you're the fucking man. Shook your hand at the Third Eye Carnival on Steve's birthday. Oh, yeah, I went to that. Today, they are saying one of the Australian shooters was in the IDF. Maybe bullshit. No, dude, that was a false flag. They're like Israel is Jussie Smollett of false flags. The modern concept of the false flag, look up the Lavon affair. Guess what country invented that? Again, don't blame the Jews. It's not the Jews. It's a very small amount of mafia types. Okay. I've been sending you a bunch of good shit. Check your emails. There's some interesting shit about Tracy Twyman. Okay, I will check that, but I have not seen that. I mean, you don't have to super chat it, but tell me where the fuck what to search, because I want to know that. Okay, tip jar, whatever. Thank you. Got my Gate Zener card deck. Wonder if us Gate kids see through the mind control. Oh, did you, Aaron? What kind of school did you get? Any?
Through the 6th grade.
Oh, okay. I was in Gate, Gifted and Talented Education, which it turns out was some Pentagon thing. But it doesn't mean that I was in a secret space program or something, because it's a lot of private contracting, much like Scientology could be used for, right?
When I was in the 3rd grade, I was in a gifted program, and it was actually called the space program.
Dude, that adds up. That adds up a lot.
I was in Van Sciver Elementary in South Jersey.
Well, Hal Puthoff, the UFO guy that everybody talks to, like he's not a lying Scientologist, who's the guy in charge of the UFO shit in pop culture? Why, Hal Puthoff, the Scientologist.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, well, most people don't know he was a Scientologist. Ingo Swann, the famous remote viewer. Guess what religion he was?
He was a Scientologist.
Guys, it's all the same religion, magic shit that goes back to Babylon. It's not like, don't get caught up on lore of it. It's not that. It's technique. If you're picking up chicks by negging them, you are doing Babylonian magic. It's just psychology.
Wow, Puthoff really was a high-level Scientologist.
Oh, a very high level. That's why I told you the CIA. See, if they're not doing well, the CIA is done with them, is how I take it. But
wow.
Oh, also, look up J.R. Sweet, MormonMonarch.org. His mother used to go help program Tom Cruise at the Sea Org, according to J.R. Sweet. And now I believe it extra because what you told me about what's his name? Farrakhan. Mm-hmm. These people act like companies and they outsource things. It's amazing. It's amazing when you compare notes with people. It really you find out some very interesting shit. Sabotage Zevi was the original Kanye West. You know what? I think that's pretty good. Kurp, you talk a lot of shit about anime, but you be making a lot of anime references. While the hate, Brody, there are gems in anime slop. Look, when I was a boy, anime was Fist of the North Star, Ninja Scroll, okay? Shit that made you a man. Okay, nowadays, you end up becoming a furry. White guys. Look, I've said it, and I'll say it again. White men, young men, you can't watch anime. It's going to make you a furry. Now, Mini might, you be talking, that means you're black. You can watch it, but it means you will turn white. Sorry. That's just a fact. No, look. I know anime because I used to manage a store in Jersey City, and all my friends that were like, it wasn't so hood. It seemed like that way at the time, but it really wasn't. Now that I've lived in so many goddamn hoods, and it was all my black and brown friends that were into anime. Like I never knew about Dragon Ball Z. Okay, that was my friend Aaron, who and like I don't know. Look, I'm old, man. Things are different now, and now they've. They're pinning the J6 bombing with those bombs that didn't work on a black brony, which, just to refresh you, is an adult that likes My Little Pony.
No, hold on. The first time I saw Dragon Ball Z written out, I thought this is a sick joke, right? It's obviously Dragon Balls.
You're picking
it's not
up
Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, you are picking up as a Scientologist the Twilight language because it's both. And subliminal messaging, or I think, now I look at everything as Twilight language. It's like, hey, Bondi Beach in Australia. Was it Pam Bondi Beach? It's not, but the point is, names have a resonance psychologically. So if you can trigger a resonance with your ritual, which is what Charlie Kirk's killing was, I didn't want to see him die. I didn't look, it was in my feed. Why? I tried to avoid it. We were required to see it. That's like the Challenger blowing up when I was a kid. We all had to go to class to watch the teacher.
Saw that.
They wanted us to see it. That's called a message to the masses. Okay, Sabotage Heavy, original Kanye West, great. That's a very interesting thing, and I believe you. It does a lot of parallels there. Great. That's great. It should be a requirement for every episode of Derp that Judge Kurp mentions the dude who thought he gained powers by holding in his load. Oh, Robert Sapir? Dude, I think a lot of people. Oh, what's his name from $1 Million Extreme? I do want to get him on. Charles? Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. He's a good dude, man, but he was holding in his cum too. I don't think he still is. That's the secret of alchemy. Jim Carrey will tell you. Go watch Jim Carrey blather.
That's
nonsense.
right. We watched that. You and I watched that on the last time we did a video. That was really funny.
Yeah, that's
Charles Carroll.
Charles Carroll. I love talking show with Charles Carroll because he's as wacky as I am. Except dude. Not only do I not hold my cum in, when you come, you're supposed to like do your magic. Then, well, can I tell you, I waste my cum wishes every time. I just wish for more wishes. Okay. Hanukkah allowance, thank you. That looks like $35.90. That's a foreign currency. So it's probably oh wait, that's Hebrew. Israel's money better not be worth more than ours, god damn it.
You can tell from the color, it's about $10.
Okay. Love you brothers and everyone, but love you brothers and everyone out there in Community 23 Skidoo. Thanks. Kurpus thrice majestic. Could you or would you have on the war mode boys? I texted Billy, he ain't got back to me, but I'll try again. And
I've talked to them before about doing shows, and they're pretty stern about only doing them in person. So you'd have to be like out.
Well, come over my house.
In Texas. Yeah,
well, he could have texted me. Well, whatever. I love the war mode. I did war mode. I loved it. I had a great time. Well, are they in Texas?
Well, I'm sure they'll come by to visit Shane. They're friends with Shane. Shane lives in Texas. No, they live out east.
Oh my God, Shane. By the way, I hope Shane doesn't get fucking destroyed again from his foolish trust of the industry. And now that they're embracing him, but I see it about to happen. I could see it. Yo, they already fucked you once, brother. Why are you gonna fucking? Are you a theater girl inside? Yeah, but I love that dude. One of the funniest people I've met in my life, and such a gifted actor. They were such fools to fight.
They're building him up just to cancel him again.
Well, that's the star system. That's the Lucifer-based system that we have. The Lightbringer, a star on the Walk of Fame, apotheosis. You live forever on the silver screen. Whether you're dying broken alone on the street or whatever, you live forever. And they're all into this shit. They're creeps. They're all creeps. I mean, you've seen a few of them up close, how weird they are. And it's not even creeps like they're all Epstein. They're creeps on levels like you wouldn't even know until you're fucking there. Did you ever? Oh, Tom Cruise with the fish. You ever think about that?
I don't know where that came from. Like, I don't even know that I get it. Is it just,
It's okay. It's old school. In fact, the
I
Simpsons,
mean,
Simpsons
people
referenced
aren't
it.
thinking he's actually banging fishes, are they?
The fake stories, they are, and I think they're fake. But here's what I think that is. I think, like the guy, the Mel Gibson movie, he's got to buy Catcher in the Rye wherever he is. I think they're testing his programming when they do that.
Mm.
Go frantically, because if you wanted to fuck a fish, he could have you go get the fish, right? You work.
I mean, if you fucked the fish, it would pretty much die right away, right?
Yeah, well, it's just a big raw. He doesn't want it wrapped. He needs it right now. He's going to take it in the bathroom. It disappears, and no one
Yeah.
knows why.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I know why, but what I think is happening is the way imbeciles wore masks. There's still people, friends of mine, are wearing masks. People that I like, and if they transition to a woman, it would be less awkward than talking to a loved one who's wearing a mask. Because what am I going to fucking say? The mask never worked, by the way. The holes are too big. The masks are for surgery, so the doctor doesn't spit into your open wound. Everyone knows this. Nurses know this, but they need the money. But a lot of them told the truth. We covered it the whole time on Jimmy's show. But because everyone is mind controlled, okay, they know now, but they're not going to be mad about it. Move on to the war in Venezuela now.
What does that have to do with Tom Cruise fucking fish?
It's a test. Hey, masks don't work, and it's already known knowledge that it has never worked.
Oh.
There's still people wearing. That was a beta test of where we're at with the thing of total control. That's the Gore Vidal once said. The goal of every society is total control, and he's so right. And that's the goal. And it's not a secret. They've said it to you for like 30 years. They've said, we want a new world order. Alex Jones didn't make that up. All your presidents say that shit. And Trump is promising a golden age. Do you think that's from the Bible? It's not. In fact, it's crazy. It's something from Atlantis. I mean, dude, the occult nonsense is so ingrained. It's hard to get your head around. But once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So you have an advantage, even though you got sheltered, because you could spot shit no one else can by virtue of where you were. You know what I mean? And you'll start seeing
it. Does seem to make certain things obvious, but then you don't want to fall into the trap of having a blind spot of thinking that if something was bullshit, you'd be able to detect it because that you have this overconfidence, you know?
Right. Well, look, you play the averages. So did the government tell you this is how it went down? I would say it's a safe bet that they're lying, because I defy you to name one event that was a big earth-shattering event where they weren't lying. Anyone? The Titanic. Remember that story? Remember the guy that was the shitty rich guy? In real life, he was a hero. He got as many people on the boats as he could. You see how they try to stop me, Aaron? You see how they try to stop the truth? Titanic story. Why did James Cameron smear that guy? That was, Rosebud, Citizen Kane, the real guy. Not Rose. He didn't like the guy on the boat, and so he smeared him. And it's in a movie to this day. Oh, remember everyone panicked because of War of the Worlds? Remember that fucking fake story that they tell in college today in psychology class? That didn't happen.
Radio show? Oh, that never happened?
A couple people called the sheriff because the radio show said this is a show at regular intervals during the commercial breaks. A couple people were like, hey, this is stupid, but is there an alien invasion? The sheriff said, no, it's a show. That's reality. But you didn't learn that, did you? You heard bullshit. Why? Because the radio was competing with the newspapers, like how YouTube is competing with TV. And so the oligarchs wanted to trash radio as a dangerous misinformation. That's the first misinformation lie. And if you think about it, they use that to not tell you the truth about whatever fucking shit's in the sky. Oh, you'll panic. Since when do they not want you panicked? What is everyone talking about? They want you panicked 24/7. So when they go, we can't tell people or they'd panic, you know they're lying. It's very easy. That's the number one method of control, trauma.
Yeah. Someone once told me that all pigeons die after they have sex, and I thought that was propaganda. So I tested it out, and the one that I fucked definitely died.
Well, is it orgasm or just Aaron? What's your control group? We have to look at we can't just do Scientology. We have to do science. All right, this is a pretty good derp, I felt like, and except for the tech problems, I'm sorry, I didn't control that. Don't get mad at me. It's not called the Well-Run Podcast with Kurt Metzger. It's called It's Gonna Be How It's Gonna Be, aka the Derp with Kurt. Aaron, what's your channel called again? I always forget. It's called Growing Up Scientology.
Growing Up in Scientology.
Yeah, check out. I love Aaron's channel. That's why he has to be on. So please check it out. And Aaron is out there fucking going to jail.
Going to jail for the cause, baby.
I mean, he's a down ass dude. That's what I hear. Yeah, that's our show, and you just got derped.